Hey everyone, it's BDevine and happy new moon in Aries, and the eclipse energy is still with us as well. So having this kind of around the same time, and we are going to be experiencing a lot of different things. I'm going to do some messages for us as well. And I do have a little bit of chaos behind me, but it's neat enough that you can't sort of see what I'm doing, but I'm getting myself organized as we're going to be moving to our new home soon. So it's a new start with Aries in this position. It's the first position of the zodiac. So something maybe for some of you that you've never done before is coming up. And also some things are reaching these peak points in our lives around the globe. We are all connected in so many different ways, and we all have so many different things that we're trying to personally achieve in this lifetime, right? There's something that I'm being also have been working towards, and I'm going to share that with you when it's all ready to go, but it's very exciting, and I just channeling so much information at the moment, it's not even funny. Okay, so let's quickly begin by looking at what this moon means for us in more in depth. So let's screen share right now. Okay. All right, so we have, and this is just from Cosmopolitan. All right, so my music likes to go up nice and loud when I'm not wanting it to. Okay, so new moons, time for manifestation, rejuvenation, right? So if you have had lack in your life, then this is the time to fill it through a new experience, person, or item. We must make space for beginnings and foolish behavior during the new moons. Mind you, we're all fools when beginning something new, so don't be too scared to get experimental. Yesterday I just went for my driving test in the USA, and so I've got my license now. Bobby's really hanging on. So for newbies, a new moon is when the moon and the sun meet in the sky at the same degree. And I might be able to show you a beautiful sight in a minute, forming a conjunction. Let me just see if I can find what that is. Perth eclipse in Western Australia. Let me show you real quick. I don't want it to be too long. Here we go. All right, let's have a look. Here we go. Look at this. I remember this when I was a kid, because I grew up in Perth. That's all they're going to show us? I guess so. Well, that was enough. Oh well. Okay. We don't want it to go for too long. But yeah. Wow, how cool was that, right? Okay, so it's funny because my husband said he saw one when he was about the same age as, because we're about the same age, my husband and I. And so he saw one, so we were both sort of looking up at the sky at the same time. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so we're experiencing a rare second new moon and solar eclipse in Aries shortly after midnight Eastern time on April 20th, just a month after the last new moon in Aries. Okay, so yes, the new moon was last in Aries on March 21st. So remember, we knew that that was coming, and it was pushing us into these new starts, and I was talking about that for you all as well. So the lunar transit marked a time for self-belief and self-affirmation. And since then, you may have made great progress towards your goals. Okay, but keep in mind the real progress takes time, and what will be will be. All right, I don't want to go through this whole thing here. We don't want to, okay, so we don't want to go through all of this stuff, but let's just say it's marking a time when your goals, your commitments, your dreams, your future, your whole reason for being here is really going to be highlighted. How have you been feeling over the last, couple of weeks? It's been a time of, very, very fiery energy. And that's directly because of Aries, and also because of the solar flares that we've also been getting bombarded with. Okay, so we've been going through a lot. Now, what ends up taking place, and what I find happens, and when people come to talk to me or they want a reading or whatever, they're always complaining about, one, their body, what their body is doing. Two, how their mind is all over the place. Three, how people don't get them, don't understand where they're coming from, not listening to them. Four, how they keep repeating the same patterns in their life. So they're going back to the same types of people, or they can't get away from certain types of people. Whatever it is, they keep on repeating these patterns. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, you know what? I keep on finding myself in the same group of friends, or I keep on finding myself associating with the same type of people. For example, my oldest son, and he won't let me help him with natural methods of healing. He doesn't want to know about it, and I have to respect that. He's very, very fantastic at helping those who he believes to be in a worse situation than he is. So if you're in a worse situation than him, he's going to help guide you. He's going to support you. He's going to bring you confidence. He's going to lend you money. He's going to be thoughtful of you. He's got your back. But he ends up being in groups of people that are very, very damaged. And because they're more damaged than what he might be, or what he might feel that he is, he feels more confident, and his skills are there, and they will listen to him, right? Because they're in a worse position. And it's not that he's, not capable of having amazing friends. He just doesn't have that faith in himself, unless it's with people he knows he can help, right? I know that sounds like a strange sort of situation, but I know a lot of people, even myself, I used to get myself in that way where I was like, oh, I know I can help this person. And then, other people that I know, I was like, what are you hanging around that person for? Like, what are you doing? It's like, well, I'm helping them, So until he figures out his own self and his own self-worth and strength, because he's going to be like 31 this year. It's like you've got to figure out these things and see that you really actually are only what you're saying that you are. Whatever it is that you're declaring that you are, that's what you are. If you say, I can't do this and I can't do that, that's what will happen. And people that say they're sick all the time and they can't eat this and they can't eat that and they're sensitive to this and they're allergic to that, can't have cats around, you're creating that reality. Get to the bottom of why you reject all these things or what you're afraid of, And when we're looking at ourselves in these deeper ways and doing this internal work, it's not about being harder on ourselves. Oh, I do this. Oh God, now I've got another thing that I'm doing wrong. It's not about doing that. It's just about recognizing your patterns. Because Aries is not going to let you get away with any of those patterns. It's going to keep on bringing things into your sphere for you to deal with. If you don't deal with it, it's coming in again harder and harder and harder and harder until you learn your lesson. There are so many people that I know that I can see come so far and then they go back to something because they're afraid of what's on the other side of that. Okay, if I go any further than this, I don't know what will happen. So they just, without even thinking about it, revert backwards, right? So there's so many examples of that that you might have in your life, right? And one of my worst sort of habits that I've done in the past, I'm not doing it anymore though, believe me. It was just something that I recognized about myself, was that I give to the world, like I'm in service all of the time, every single day. Okay, sometimes it's nice to be able to reap some sort of benefits from that. And I am grateful, however, with having little, because I didn't have anything for a long, long time in my life. So anything I have, my books behind me, my bookshelf, oh my God, you know, having this room to be able to do this work. There's so many things that I'm grateful for, but not wanting to continue to struggle in order to get somewhere, right? So I listen to myself in that wording saying, I am sick of struggling, right? And this is, I've already dealt with this, so this is not anything new, but thinking to myself, I'm sick of struggling and yet still trying to do more in order to receive. And there had to come a point where I didn't have to do this anymore, that I put my foot down with the universe and said, no, this is going to be different. I'm not going to repeat that pattern of, oh, you're not buying anything? Okay, let me see what else I can give you. And then going, oh, how am I going to pay for my bills? I'm not going into that pattern, right? I don't do that anymore. This is just an example, but it was one of the biggest problems that I had, where there was just such this sensation, and it was actually dogma from religion, where you've got to make up for things all of the time or give more than anybody else all of the time. Now, I just balance myself by doing what I want to do. If I want to make a video in the morning, or 5 or 6 or 10, and they're 1 minute long or whatever they are, I'll do it. If I want to offer a webinar and just make it really easy for people to do, I'll do it. If I'm creating a bigger course or whatever, and I want to make it expensive because it's totally worth it, I just do it and I just let it go, right? And at the same time, I'm always willing to, like, that's what I say. It's like, here's what it is. Here's what you're going to get. And I'm willing to work with you on it, but don't waste my time. So if you have had all of your questions answered and then you're still questioning it, go back, and when you're ready, come back to me, you know, because it's not my decision to make for you, right? So look at what you do. How do you react in situations? What's your flaw, I guess you could say, but it's coming from a kind place. So for me, my problem was giving too much and not allowing myself to receive. I still give way more than I receive, but it's in my own terms, if that makes sense, rather than a necessity to keep going, oh, I've got it all the time, right? So you've got to look at these things. That's the Aries push. The other thing is your leadership, right? You see yourself as capable of doing anything, even when you don't have the result yet in your hands, all right? But you're still seeing yourself as capable of doing anything. And when the situation arises where you've got to actually be the boss in a situation, that you know that you will be able to lead with love, direction, and support for others, but take no nonsense as well. It's very hard to be a loving leader and a kind, understanding leader. They don't usually become leaders because people walk all over them, you know? And I just wanted to be always, you know, one of the group. But I've got too much to share in this world, so I had to step forward into this next sort of position and still try to make it as easy as possible, right? But it's not easy for someone who is humble to also be in that position as well. But you're going to have to do it anyway. You are going to be challenged in the next little bit of time. Most of the challenge is already over though. Many of you have figured out what you're doing, where you're going wrong, and how to fix it. Okay? But what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at a reading for us here. And this is called the Rainbow Spread. I have a lot of different spreads. This one's the Rainbow Spread. Okay, so we will get a look at this. I also want to tell you really quickly that I have a special Zoom call. You can have a Zoom call with me for about 40 minutes, and it's totally on special at my website. So BDevineonline.com, right on the homepage, you just scroll up and you will see the reading special there, and you can book yourself in to talk with me on the Zoom. So we'll be on video, and it's recorded for you so you can watch it later as well. So if you want to do that, you need to book in quickly, because I'm only doing it for a limited time, because I really won't have the time soon when we are moving. So get in while you can. If you want to talk to me personally, if you want to talk to me about my courses, if you want help in setting yourself up with a payment plan, whatever you need to do, you need to do it soon, because the world needs you. Okay? There are no courses like mine. And I'm not just saying that. I've done them all. Okay? There's nothing like mine out there that's going to really, really help you and support you on your way through and get you to the other side where you can be a practitioner and be an accredited practitioner at the end of it. And also get help promoting yourself, and the list goes on. Okay? Let's do the Rainbow Spread. All right. Rain, what is holding you back? This is the first card. And dogs are out the window doing stuff that dogs do to each other every now and then. Wait just a second. Let's see what threw itself out. We have the Magician. So this is just a bonus message. I'm not going to take this as the first message because it's too positive. Your own manifestations are ready for you. I looked at this card this morning actually, and there was a few things that I noticed in this particular deck. This is the Heaven and Earth deck. It's a little bit different. One of them was the lilies at the bottom, and lilies represent, in some cases, death and rebirth. Okay, they can represent also an elderly person, and because the energy of this is at the bottom, I'm feeling like you're being supported here, and this is the message I was getting, like I was being supported by ancestors, like my spiritual light team, but they may be people that don't first come into your mind as well. They're not going to come into your mind. Maybe these are long ago ancestors, something like that. I know, I'm from Australia. It sounds like we're asking questions all the time. I didn't realize we did that, right? Until someone started pointing it out. And I'm like, we do. We sound like we're asking a question. Anyway, the other thing about this Magician is that, unfortunately, it has the as above, so below, that a lot of people in the Wicca society and even in spirituality seem to think that this is a wonderful thing. It doesn't mean what you think it means, okay? And it's not a positive thing at all. I don't want to get into it, but there are other symbols here. One, that there is a ability to connect to the divine. Two, that the energy of the Magician is very, very grounded and connected here, right? Three, he has everything that he needs in order to succeed, okay? And he believes in his ability to command energy, because what a magician does is command energy to bend, because you can get energy to bend positively or negatively, okay? You can ask for something and not have an expectation to receive it, and it will be a very, very slow current sort of on its way to you. Or you can ask with expectation. Suddenly, everything is thrown at you very quickly, sometimes overwhelmingly quick, right? So when you have the magician come up here, he just came up as a random message. Don't forget, because he fell out, don't forget that there is nothing that you can't do, okay? The infinity sign is also there. You may not be able to see it on top of his head there just. Okay, the infinity sign is there. Nothing ever ends truly. All right, we're continuing to grow, gather, and get information for ourselves. Okay, so what's holding us back? Maybe, if the magician came up threw itself out, we are a little bit afraid of what we can actually do here. What's holding you back? Sorrow. So the Three of Swords means so many different things. And I am an extremely intuitive person, reader, guide, mentor, trainer, whatever you want to call me. I'm going to tell you what I think. Well, more to the point, what I feel right away. Now, this is what's holding us back. And what's holding you back is a fear of getting really, really excited about something or a new direction in your life and then having it leave. Some of you got really, really excited emotionally about someone in your life and they left. You didn't see it coming. Some of you have this fear of failure because in the past you have failed, like no matter what you've tried to do. Again, another question that is always asked is, well, I'm trying to open up my abilities and nothing is happening. You've just said it. Nothing happens. You're trying. You're not accepting. You're not accepting in this energy here. You're not accepting your ability to manifest anything you want, and this time that is even better than it ever was before, and this time is your time and it works. What if it works? Right? Now there are people that go, oh, well, it just doesn't happen to me. Oh, I've heard this. This is the reading I've heard. And, oh, well, it's different for some people. No, it's not different for anybody else. It is not. People say it's easy for me. Me? Nah. I don't get to have knowledge or foresight about my own life. I have chosen to give that to you all. I can tune in if I want to and really, really, work on this. But I actually decided that it wasn't about me, that this work was about you. And through that, I get my answers anyway, right? I know what I need to be doing in my life. I know how to manifest. I know how to balance myself. I know how to rebalance myself. I know how to activate things into my being, all of this. And all of this you can do as well. So all the little, snide comments and people laughing about tarot and people laughing about people like me, we're sick of it too, there's people that are sick of their oppression or however they've been treated. Go back in history and see how we, as seers and psychics, or some people who do the witchcraft and all that, see how they've been treated. Herbalism and everything. And it's continued through the generations, and it continues today, where people will come in secret to have a reading. Can't tell anybody. Secretly on the page. What a life is that? Where I use the tarot as symbolisms to spark my intuition. I know the tarot inside out, got a course on it. I've done it for years and years, since 1990. Okay. There's nothing anyone can tell me about the cards that I don't know already. And that's just because of practice. Okay. Every single instance I see a card, it's telling me something different. And this is telling me that what is holding you back is you have an enormous fear of it not working, even when you start getting it to happen, that it's going to fall apart, that the shoe's going to drop, all of a sudden it's going to stop, the money's going to stop, or you'll get a good momentum and then it will stop. And you have to deal with the grief and the pain and the stress of your past, okay, that makes you believe that every time you get some ground underneath you, there's a massive hole that you're going to fall into. Now, whether that's because of that's what's always happened, I get it. But your mindset, your subconscious fears have to get out of the way, have to get out of your own way to succeed. And if you are holding any grief or guilt or sadness or disdain inside of your physical body, you won't get anywhere. Your body will just take it all on and you've got problems. You shouldn't have any. We shouldn't have problems with our physical body unless we've got problems going on internally, like meaning emotionally. Okay? All right, next one. Who or what helps you? This is the clearing. Who or what helps you? The Queen of Wands comes out. It's kind of going to be kind of weird. Who or what helps you? No, it's the Queen of Swords. Okay. Who or what helps you? Now, the Queen of Swords, in this instance, connected with air, connected with what you're saying, okay? Sometimes she's a total cow, okay? Can I say that? Queen of Swords can be a total and utter cow who's bitter and mean. And all you air sign ladies that are out there, stop, okay? This is the situation of this particular card, all right? This is not picking on air signs or anything. This is just saying that this situation, this person can be a cow. But wait, let me get to it, okay? The reason that she can feel or appear to be harsh, the reason she can be narcissistic even, and jealous and cruel and spiteful, the reason that she says what she means and she means what she says towards you is so that you'll wake up, okay? Now, sometimes we don't wake up when there's someone as nice as me telling you, right? We don't wake up because, I'm not always, how do you explain it? I don't always say exactly what I want to say because of restrictions on YouTube and other places, right? So I do have to be careful. And of course, I don't want to be the person who's an agitator in your life at all. I'm the one person that's on your side, okay? But this person, this is what's going to actually help you, okay? And it's the attributes of the Queen of Swords that I want you to focus on, not on what star sign you are and, oh God, she's talking about me. No, listen to what I'm saying. This is for you, okay? The Queen of Swords comes up when harsh communication is needed in order to kick you up the ass and get you started on your life path. Get you started on your healing. Get you started with your skills or improve them. Okay? And it usually comes when we get triggered or we get upset by someone's behavior, and we start getting all worked up about what someone's saying or doing and how they're reacting to us, or God, it's not fair, or blah, blah, blah. We blow it all off. We blow off our steam, but then we start doing something about it, right? So this is actually going to help clear. If something like this comes, or someone retaliates, or someone is angry towards you, you just don't even know where it's coming from. They're actually a person in your life who is going to be your greatest teacher. I had a friend years ago, we talked about it recently. My friend and I, she was there when she was actually there in the room when my middle son, Joshy, was born. And there was one part of my life where I really needed her, this one particular day. And she basically shut the door and told me not to come back. And I was just beside myself. Like, I could, you know, I've got to be careful not to get myself back into that old energy, because I just couldn't believe this was happening. And I walked back home, and I'd had a massive injury all down my shins because, you know, I was in a domestic violence situation with this person, and he had kicked me and kicked me and kicked me in my shins, like to the point where I had lots of veins that I had to get stripped later in my life. Now, I walked there and I was injured, and I going to tell you the truth. I was actually going to go there. I was going to tell her everything. I was going to have something to eat there because I didn't know when I'd had something to eat before. I was going to just settle myself down and, like I always did, you know, talk to my friends. And she basically just shut the door on me and said, go and don't come back unless you leave this guy. But I'm telling you now, right? I thought about it. And it took me another 2 years, but I eventually got away. And I questioned her about this recently. And she said, oh my God, I'm so sorry about that day. She said, I was living with a narcissist. Nobody knew about it. She's like, I couldn't help you. I couldn't have you come here, you know? And I was like, oh. And she said, I'm so sorry about it. You know, I feel bad about that. And I'm like, no, actually, it was the thing. It was the spark where I realized that this wasn't just about me anymore. This was affecting other people, right? And they couldn't do anything to help me because I wouldn't do anything to help myself. So as nasty as that door was shut in my face that day, and I walked home with my legs hurting and crying and, you know, trying to suck it up with the kids and the one holding on to the pram and the other one in the pram and, you know, it was the best thing that ever happened. So the person that's going to help you the most is going to be the coldest person that's been in your life. And you can look back at that and you can say, oh my God, I never got past that first time, or I never got past my mother, or I never got past my friend or the ex-boyfriend or whatever. They were teaching you stuff. It's your job to figure that out. Figure out what your lesson was and don't repeat it. So that's the clearing. That's what's going to help you. A person that's kind of like nasty, okay? The sunshine is the best that you can hope for, okay? So what's coming out? What's the positive on the horizon, okay? Aha! That the angels have got this, okay? This is the Temperance card here. This is like the Judgment card. It's like the Lovers. We have Gabriel in those cards. The angels bring balance, don't they? They ask you to balance yourself. They ask you to see things from a higher perspective. If you were a guardian angel, okay, this is what I'm going to tell you. If you were a guardian angel, what's your message to humanity? What's your message to yourself right now? Because this is about the energy of balance. It's the energy of success. It's also a divine timing sort of situation. So you've got to wait for divine timing here. But this angel's just like right on the water. I don't know if you can see it. You know, the impossible is made possible. Alchemy is at play. Okay? The divine is looking after you. But if you can sort of tell in this picture, in a sense, like really focused on what they're doing here. You need to be focused on what you're doing. There's like a crown over here as well. Be focused on what you're doing. Be focused on success. Trust that the angels are doing stuff behind the scenes to fix this situation. Again, another time in my life, I've heard these loud voices throughout my life, like waking me up when there was someone breaking into the back part of the yard in Australia. My voice, Rebecca, and I just sat right up. Another time when I got this clear message. Gosh, I was going to tell you about a particular thing, and now I went back to that story there, and I've gotten myself distracted. Oh, okay, so this one particular time, right, I am watering my garden at my house, and I'm, complaining in my own head. Well, this is not fair, and that's not fair. Mind you, I was a lot younger, okay? And all this stuff had been going on, and I'm like, well, the universe, blah, 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 blah. I was just really giving the universe a very, very hard time, right? Mouthing off at the universe. As I'm doing the watering, I stopped mouthing off at the universe. I was listening for a second, and I heard, "You doubt the universe's ability to move mountains?" And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm basically saying. But I heard the voice, and I'm like, shit, this is what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here going around and around and around and around, trying to come up with a bloody solution. And boy, I'm in so much pain. And why is this person doing this? And why can't I see my child? And why is that happening? And, just like, I'm paying out all this money. And it's just like, I hate my job. And, blah, just moan. And I just heard this very loud, very direct voice from the universe. And I never forget it. I do not doubt the universe's ability to move mountains, because I've seen that stuff happen. Time and time again. I moved to the United States to be with my husband with $50. That was it. And it wasn't even cash. It was on a stupid card, which may or may not have worked. But I trusted I was going to eat really well on that plane. And then I was going to eat well on the plane. I was going to drink all the water they had. I was just going to, and I would be fine. And I was. But nobody does that. I mean, you go overseas, you've got a lot of money packed, right? Just in case. I don't want to have a just in case in my life that shit's going to go wrong. I want to have an understanding or an expectation that everything's just going to figure itself out. Because that's far less pressure to do that. Anyway, that's your advice, okay? Oh no, here comes your advice. That was just some other advice. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, here we go. This is the advice. And it's very gentle. This is the knight here of cups. Comes with his offering, right? He comes with his love. He comes with his heart on his sleeve. But I want to point out the horse. I don't know about you, but anytime I've seen a great leader, I mean, not every single time, because Sitting Bull had a blue roan horse. But anytime I've seen like George Washington, kings and, queens in history, etc., come in on a white horse. And it feels to me that the advice for you is to see yourself very protected, as he is. He's got his armor on. I don't know why you can't see this so well. Trying. These are sort of like grayish types of cards. He's got his armor on. He's fully protected. The horse is not going to let anything happen to him. It's probably a big old Percheron, right? He's got the information with the crab coming to him. If you can notice, the crab is right there in midair. Sort of, in a sense, jumping in to his cup. Or is he jumping out? I think he's jumping in. Look at him. There we go. And the advice is, if you look at the horse, just chilled. You got to just chill out. You got nothing to worry about except for worry itself. Fear, nothing but fear itself. That's it. The big game in this life is the illusion that you are somehow less than. There's an illusion that somehow you are less than, right? And that's something that only you can break. Should we be egotistical and big head? No. That's not a balanced reality. I don't know whether people who are truly genuine even get that way. I don't know, right? There's one thing about appreciating your skill, appreciating who you are. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, appreciating that. But boastfulness and all that sort of stuff is not fun, right? But we need to be relaxed in the strength that, or in the energy of this divine support and protection around us, and how come through calmly. I know it's hard right now with Aries energy because it's like, but we have to just, you may not have a filter at the moment, just saying, right? Because of all this stuff that's going on. But let's have a look at the outcome. The long term, if you follow this advice, what's the long-term outcome? A gift is coming. There's something coming as a gift. Long-term outcome, persevere. Okay, you have the High Priestess here. The knowingness of all. The quiet understanding. This also reminds me of like Mother Mary and gentle goddess energy like this, because the High Priestess is very the Empress is very like, everybody tell me what's going on because I can't find what I'm looking for, and there it is. Okay, well, it's just as well now, we've got everything fine, everything's okay, but you're gonna have to do this, and this, okay, because you got me all worked up. That's what the Empress can do. And the High Priestess is like, oh yeah, this might be fun, and just throws caution to the wind, like is missing. Everyone's going, where's this girl, Persephone? Where is she? And she's missing for months. And she just comes up like nothing's happened. Oh, well, I was just underground with Hades for a while. Like, what's your problem? Everything's fine. Like, chill, It's just a quiet confidence that whatever decision she makes is the right one. It doesn't matter whether it appears to be the right one to Demeter, who's like, how could you do this to me? It doesn't matter. See, because the Empress, although she's got poise and she's like very respected and she's like abundant and, has it all, right? She can be very stressed out too when she doesn't know what's coming. And that's, a lot of people do that to themselves. They get all worked up when they don't know for sure. They've got to know for sure. If they don't think you like them or something, they will keep picking at you till you finally explode and they're like, aha, there it is, I knew it, right? That's the sort of behavior. I know I'm animated, but that's just how it is. But the High Priestess here, this is your long-term outcome of listening to the advice of the Knight of Cups here. It's just like slinking into life and trusting your decisions wholeheartedly. No need to say anything, no need to justify, no need to worry about it, you've got it all within you, right? You hold the secrets of the divine within you. You hold your abilities within you. You got to accept them or they won't come out. Okay? It's a whole different coming out here. Come out of the spiritual closet. I'm not going to be alone in this. The energy here of phases of life, right? The phases of your life. It's just a phase. I have a shirt, I wear it, everyone loves it. It's just a phase, it says. It's not going to last. Whatever you're going through right now. It doesn't have to be your forever, you know? Things are coming into our lives, all of us, okay, that we're not going to even believe. And if we can't get our minds working for us, we're never going to survive any of this stuff coming up, because it's going to be tumultuous in many places. It's going to be freaky and overinflated because of the news. And there's going to be things that aren't even the way that they are, but they're going to be made out to be a certain way, and everyone's going to go, oh. And, right? We don't have to be that way. We can create our own reality. People talk about this, and then someone's eyes start glazing over like, oh, God, talking about timelines now. New paradigms. Oh, my God. Trusting the process. Yeah, that's what we do. And guess what? It works, because of what you were doing before really worked, and you wouldn't be where you are today. If you were healed, you wouldn't be here. If you were healed, you wouldn't be at the academy or anywhere else. You'd already know what you're doing, and you'd be able to do it. You know, it's like, this is how it is. What we've been taught is still trying to come up and control your next moves every now and then. That won't work, is what I hear sometimes, because that's my mum. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay. Right? And you're like, shut up. Right? But because they have a negative viewpoint, everyone's got to have one. Because it didn't work for them, it's not going to work for you. You know? My gosh. All right, I'm just going to give us one last push here. What is the final thing that we need to know? The Princess of Swords is here as well. So we are going to get communication. We are going to get something so far in our face that we are going to have no choice but to just listen to the messages, the signs, the symbols. You know, if energies are coming in, there's no need to panic. If you get pains in your body and all that, oh, I'm feeling, oh, God. Okay, stop. Okay, are you really feeling this, or is this coming out of you now? Is it something that's coming towards you, or is it coming out of you? Is it something that you've just dealt with and now you're feeling the effects of energy leaving your body? Probably 90% of the time. Are you creating it because of something that happened before? You know, are you resisting? If you're resisting, you're going to have problems with your knees, with your ankles, with your feet, with your hands, with your elbows, basically all of your joints. When you're resisting a change that you need to make, right? It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It's got everything to do with you. If you're resisting your spiritual self, if you're resisting balancing yourself, guess what? You're going to be one of those people that complains that you've got headaches all the time. You will, because you're all blocked in. You're like forcing it shut, terrified of opening yourself up. If you're one of these people that has to know what everybody else is doing, thinking, saying, or feeling, then you're attaching yourself out to all of these other people, and you're sending negative energy, and it's coming right back at you, and you wonder why. You can't stop thinking, and you can't stop feeling, and you can't stop having anxiety, and you can't stop overreacting, because you're too interested in what everyone else has got to do instead of being interested in what's going on with you. Because nobody cares. Everybody's doing their own thing. Nobody cares. You're going to have probably 5 people in your whole life that you're going to fully be able to rely on, if that. So, you know, people with all these followers and this, that, and the other, they don't care about you. You're just one of the numbers. You're just one of the person they may randomly come across. And that's what happens to me as well. I'm just a random. People randomly come across me, or they were, on my Facebook page 10 years ago. So I'm still there somehow. I made it. I made the cut. But there's this sensation that people, they have to have everyone support them for their journey. Doesn't happen. Then they get the resentful when it doesn't happen. Just get used to it right now, that your journey is the most important. And the less you focus on everybody else, the happier you're going to be. Okay? The more you can see for yourself a bright and beautiful future, regardless of how or when or why that's going to happen, the happier you're going to be. The more work you do on yourself, the younger you're going to be, because your body is not straining. Okay? When your body's straining, you look old. That's why people get to my age and they've just about had it. 10 or 20 more years, and it's like, wow, they're ready for the, whatever, retirement home, right? I don't know. When my dad was my age, it was like night and day compared to me. Night and day. He'd given up, just given up on it all. There's people that give up in their 30s. Oh, well, I'm just going to grow hairy armpits and just, keep a beard going and let it grow as long as it can. And great. But have you given up on yourself? Because if you know someone around you that they start really, really ignoring their personal hygiene or, their cleanliness and all this, if they used to be clean and then they're not, they need help. Okay? The first sign of mental health disorder is all around you. And then you get the fatigue and all this stuff happening. Why? Because you're suppressing the truth of your feelings, and you care what other people think of you. Big mistake. Because no one's ever going to be happy with you, so you might as well get used to it. Doesn't mean they won't support you in that, but there's still going to be, especially when you make strides. When you make strides in your life and you're starting to go forward, wow, people really can't handle that. Because you're supposed to fail. I mean, they're sending all this hate to you. You're supposed to fail. And you're not. And it drives them even more crazy. Well, congratulations for wasting your time on me. When someone writes me a nasty comment on YouTube, you hardly ever see them, right? But if it ever happens where I'm evil and I'm bad and all this sort of stuff, guess what? Delete. Right? That's all that has to be said. Delete. You're the one that's wasted your time and energy writing to me. You're the one that's wasted your time and energy getting stroppy with me or angry with me or whatever it is you are. I don't know. Thinking I'm going to go to hell or something. I don't know why you would waste your time caring. Why you're even on my page, I don't know if you're religious and crazy about it and scared to die. Not everybody is, But you put your energy at me and you get deleted. Because if I sat there answering people like that, I'm wasting my energy, wasting my time. I don't have time for that. But again, at the same time, this is my channel, Facebook and all that sort of stuff. I'm not putting up with anyone's abuse at all. And to be honest, my husband's right there with me. There really isn't any. Every now and then you just get someone who's doesn't even know who I am. And they're like, oh, you're going to hell. Oh, this is the devil's work. Why are you so fascinated with the devil? Why? I'm not. Fascinated with unconditional love, success, manifestations, healing, helping people to heal, helping people to grow. Wow, so bad. God's so mad with me. I'll just handle my own soul, okay? So, new beginnings are here. Okay? I hope if anything, I just make you laugh. That's great, because this is who I am. New beginnings are here. Some of you I'm going to see on Saturday. I'm just having a big catch up with everyone who's a part of the academy, even the people that are just doing the free Destiny code. You're invited to our Zoom meeting on Saturday afternoon, which is going to be fun. And I have video. You can talk to me on Zoom and do a 40-minute session with me with whatever you want to talk about. And you can book that in on my website. It's always here, BDevine Online. And it's right on the first page. So you can do that. I hope that you enjoyed the messages. I will keep you all updated once we've finally closed in and started to move and all this sort of stuff. Everyone's going to tell anyway, because I'm going to have a different background behind me, right? So don't give up on yourself. It's now a time to think about what you want for your future. Nobody else. Leave everybody else out of the picture. What do you want for yourself, your life, your journey, your spirituality, your health, your body, your mind, your soul? If you want to start working with the in-depth studies that I have available, more than one thing is available there. Please contact me or go to my website for more information. Okay, you can email me, devinemiracles@gmail.com, multiple ways. Okay, so I hope to see you soon. And until the next time, happy new moon. What's going to begin in your life? Let's go. And bye for now. Bye, everyone.